So in 1966, my family moved to Greece, and that was November of 1966. And my dad got a job over there. In April of 1967, the colonels took over. There was a military coup. Dictatorship came in. And the last band that played in Athens before the colonels took over was the Rolling Stones in the spring of 1967, probably March. One of my brothers went to that show. I was too young. And so then for 7 years, there was no international rock and roll shows. There were some local bands, like I was in a local band in Greece there, and there were some Greek bands that played at clubs, but no big rock shows because the colonels, the military, were squashing the humanities because the humanities are so dangerous. So Woodstock, the movie, came out, I think, in the early 70s. I think probably 1970, maybe it was 1971 by the time it finally got to Athens. And the Greek kids and the American kids there, nobody had seen any bands in years and years and years. And when the movie came out, there were riots. There were riots to get into the movie, to see it. And finally, after about 3 or 4 days, I got a ticket and went in. The place was packed. It was common knowledge that people were seeing the movie over and over and over again to see their rock and roll heroes up on the big screen. They're saying, Zito Alvin Lee, Zito Alvin Lee, which means Hail Alvin Lee, and Zito Jimi Hendrix, Jimi Hendrix. This is everybody they'd ever heard of on this glorious theater and nobody that they could see live. And the fact that there were riots tells you one thing, that people want to see this, want to take part in it. Rock and roll means something to people. And the fact that the government wouldn't allow rock and roll to be in there for 7 years means it must be important to them, too, to want to squash it. So it was a big moment for me. I said, this is a big deal. This is a very important piece of people's lives. And of course it is for me, too. Ever since I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan when I was 7, until now, I'm 62 years old now and playing next door, playing a rock show next door. It's all because of music. And that's my big humanities moment, I guess.